Hey guys, Kviden here. So a while back, I made a tips and trick video, and one of the things I talked about was how to build sideways, like 45 and 90 degrees, which that in itself isn't something new. Plenty of people have already figured out how to do that. But what I found out and was talking about specifically was how to build sideways while keeping it nice and straight without having to eyeball anything and end up with some jankiness. And just recently I made a new discovery on how to do this more consistently, so I decided I had to make a new video. So right off the bat, 3 foundations, then you go over here and you put a little ramp facing away from you, a ladder right here because the ladder will line you up with the foundations, and when you try doing the spike wall you can't look left or right, it's only up or down. So you put a spike wall down, then from the spike wall you put a fence foundation on the left side. It's only the left side. I don't know why, like it will not provide that snap point on the right side. Just weird arc things. I don't know why, so just do it on the left side. But then from that fence foundation, you'll have a new snap point for either a pillar or a wall, and both of those will give you a snap point for a foundation. So we can just go ahead and pick all this stuff up. I'm using the ASR pickup gun because that mod's amazing. Just move past it. I didn't want to manually pick all this stuff up. But from there, you put a little ramp piece, and you'll see the ramp is nice up and down. Put some foundations out away from that, so we got the new snap point for the ladder. I don't know. Yeah, put a ladder up on this right here. And if you guys ever have trouble getting up on this ladder because it is annoyingly janky, you can't just press E. You have to like jump over on it and like press E at the very tip of it. Anyway, while you're up here on your ladder, you can go ahead and try to place your spike wall on the new ramp. And it can kind of be janky, but if you do it right, it should snap like that. And you'll have a new snap point for your fence foundation. And from that, you can put your pillar. And from that, you can put your foundation. And bada bing, bada boom, you got a nice sideways foundation tilted at a 90-degree angle that you can do all sorts of cool stuff with. I personally really like using these, what are they? They're not behemoth hatch frames, they're just large hatch frames, whatever. They're a 3x3, which is the perfect size for a gate since dino gates are too small, behemoth gates are too big, but I love them, and it's perfectly straight, and it's flawless technique and no problem at all, right guys? Well, not really, because when I started trying to make builds with this technique, it would work sometimes, and other times it would just jank out. You're gonna be hearing the word jank a lot. Move past it. And when I was reading the comments on that video, you guys seemed just as confused as I was, asking if it was patched or claiming that it only worked on like perfectly flat terrain. But I just chalked it up to Ark being a buggy mess of a game and just moved past it, thinking that there was no way to do it consistently. That was until just the other day, while I was playing on this Game of Thrones RP server, which was kind of mid and pay to win. But anyway, while I was playing on that, I figured out what was causing the jank and how to consistently build sideways, nice and straight and even on any terrain, whether it be flat or hilly. But it's just so stupid. The reason for it is, and the reason for you guys not being able to do it is just stupid. This game is, it's something, all right. So I just had to come back to life and make a video on it because it's just unfathomably stupid, and I cannot believe this worked when I figured out what was happening. The answer and the problem here is you just have to be building facing north or south. You can't build east or west or northeast or southwest. No, it has to be more or less straight north or south, and then the spike walls will cooperate. Like, look right here. Just look how horrible this is. And if you do finally snap it, it will be off at a weird ass angle. And the weird ass angle is because it's trying to point north or south. I don't know why it does this. I have a very smooth brain, but it does it every time. It's repeatable on any map with any structure type, and it doesn't matter what type of terrain you're on. I don't understand. When I found this out, it just kind of blew my mind and how stupid this solution was. Just build facing north or build facing south, and then it will allow you to put the spike wall on the ramps perfectly every time without any problems. I don't understand why. So let's just go ahead and do another example, but this time facing south. Get your spike wall on the ramp, fence foundation from the spike wall, pillar from the foundation, pillar from the fence foundation, delete all that. Then from the pillar you get a foundation, put another ramp on there, put some foundations out a bit further so you have a new snap point for your ladder. Put your ladder up here, which you also need a triangle for. It doesn't have to be a triangle, you could use a normal one, but the triangle one you can see better. Then you just go ahead and put your spike walls, and look at that! Look how straight they are every time when you're facing north or south. I don't know why. How did nobody else discover this? Am I the first smooth brain person to try this, or I honestly don't understand. But it's so consistent every time. If you want to use this little technique, make sure you're building north or south. Like here, let's go try building east over here, and you'll see not there. Bad foundation. You'll see just how it doesn't work. I don't know why. You can already tell right there. It's kind of wrong. It's slightly off. But as soon as we get to the 90-degree one, you'll definitely see how fucking jank it is. like, okay, look at this right here, guys. Just snapping all over the place, not where we want it at all. And specifically, it seems to be trying to snap, look at that. It snaps on the side of the ramp, which happens to be facing north. It will not snap on this east side right here. I guess, well, technically this is the west side, but still, it will not snap on it. It's baffling to me. Wildcard, somebody explain this to me. Captain Fat Dog, he's smart enough. He would understand what's happening here to explain it to my smooth brain, but anyway, we're gonna move past this and on to a different topic, which is how do you connect these sideways, both the 45 and the 90-degree angled foundations, back to normal foundations? How do you snap them to get them to play together and work well? And this is also where I made a mistake in my last video, because here's what I showed you to do before. You place a fence foundation, then snap a spike wall from that fence foundation, which you can already see something's wrong there. From the spike wall, you put another fence foundation, then a pillar, and a foundation. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice this is crooked, because you guys were kind of right. This technique right here only works on perfectly flat terrain, but I found a better way to do it. You keep that same fence foundation, but then you snap a pillar to it, and from the pillar you'll get a new snapping point for the spike wall, one that isn't snapped with the terrain if you're on a hill or anything, but is instead snapped straight with the pillar, so it's even, it's nice and level. And then from that spike wall you can snap a fence foundation, from the fence foundation you can snap a pillar, from the pillar you can snap a foundation, and there you go, finally. You have a foundation that is level again, that you can build with, and that is actually lined up with the sideways piece over there. If we clear out some of this junk right here, look at that, it's straight, but let's clear out some of this junk, and then I can show you how to get them to be nice and close together and play together. So you just go back over and snap them up a bit higher. We might need to lower, yeah, we'll lower this one, which you can just do with a little quarter wall. That's not right there, bad. So let's, we'll put another one here, replace this guy with a quarter wall one. See, it takes a bit of finagling around, but you guys can do it, I believe in you. See, and look at that. They're more or less lined up pretty evenly, and you can snap them so they are completely surrounding the sideways one. And from the sideways one, we can go ahead and place one of our big old hatch frames. That's not it. It's a different key. It's like number 8 or 9. I don't, my fingers don't work. There we go. And now we get a nice big tilted hatch frame that you can use as a gate, but that is lined up with your normal foundations. And I saw a comment that was asking if it was possible, like if you already had a pre-built base, how could you rotate pieces to connect them to it? Like if you wanted this gate on a base you already made, and man, I fiddled around with it for a long time and I just could not find a way to consistently get it to work. So sorry, just build a new base. Anyway, if you want to snap it from the 45-degree angle back to a normal flat one, what do? Not this. This is what I said do before, and again, you can see how crooked that is. I did not take into account the fact that I was building on perfectly flat terrain before, and that these snap onto the slope of the ground and whatnot. So what you actually do is keep that same fence foundation, but then snap some ramps outwards, which you'll see they are now perfectly flat, and then you'll have a new snap point for the spike wall from that fence foundation. And then from the spike wall, if you can get it, you have a new snap point for a fence foundation that will actually be straight and level. And then again, you can do pillar and then a foundation. And look at that, it's back to being flat again, while also kind of on the same grid, not actually for snapping purposes, but close enough that you can actually build them together. Like let's build this over there, and then we can pick these guys up, put a ramp right there, and look at that, look how well lined up they are. I mean, you might need some quarter walls or quarter ceilings, whatever, but you can build some cool things like this now if you put them together. Let's go ahead, we're gonna need another foundation, but now we can build that there and put some more ramps up if they will snap right. This game doesn't like snapping right. If they'll snap right, you can build some cool things with that. See, you could have a really nice pyramid with that right there, brother. And that is pretty much the whole video, guys. If you're gonna use this technique, just make sure you're building facing north or south. Now that we can do it consistently, I might go ahead and make some more videos with it, or not, but that's the end of this video.